Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We are back, and this is the countdown. After 5 weeks of tinkering, we are ready for FPL, the final few days. And I'm delighted to have my regular co-host back, my boy, Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm good. Good to be back, mate. Yeah, it just feels like a summer break I've had. I think it's only been a week that I haven't been on here.
It's only been 2 shows.
Yeah, it's only been 2 shows. But that's a lifetime in the preparation for a new fantasy season, isn't it? So, yeah, this is exciting. Mate, I've tinkered a little bit, I have to say, over the last week of just being out here and just having second thoughts and looking at my team. And you know what? There's one thing playing on my mind at the moment, and it's not something I'd considered at all before this holiday, and it's Mo Salah.
Ooh, a big Salah,
There's
no
just
Salah
something eating
debate.
away at me. There's something eating away at me. Like, why haven't you got Salah? What are you doing? And I haven't really been able to get it out of my head the last couple of days. Whenever I keep looking at this, thinking, yeah, he's one of the best players in the game. And I literally haven't considered a way to get him into my team yet because I'm looking at all these other, clever 7 million assets that aren't going to score anywhere near as many points as Salah. So why can't I get him in here? And this is why this show, I love it. Like the enablers show, like this could have helped me get Salah into my team. That's kind of what I'm looking at today. Is it going to be plausible to get Salah into this team? I think it actually can be. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, good one. I'd love you to have Salah in your team because I think having Salah there's a very good argument to say you should. I don't think I'm going there, but fair play to those that do. And I think it'll be a really nice differential captaincy option, certainly game week 2. Good to see so many in the chat, guys. Welcome to the show. Hitting that like and subscribe button early doors. I've seen Adam Stevo says in the chat, Janny's back on the FPL show this Friday. Go on. Adam, how do you know that out of interest? Because you're right. I am back on the FPL show, but I don't think I've told anyone. Has it been advertised somewhere that you've seen that? Let us know in the chat.
Mate, you're more famous than you realise. There's probably adverts going around the world. He's back.
Sam from FPL family let it out, G. What did she say? Sam said yesterday, Janny. Okay. So yesterday would have been Sunday. Oh, so on the FPL family live stream.
Oh, right. She's obviously
maybe blame the Bombfields, says Adam. Okay.
Sam, can't keep a secret.
So what did Sam say? Did she? Yeah, because okay. So maybe I think Sam is in game week 2. So maybe she was teeing that one up. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you, Sam, for announcing my good news.
That's my news.
Yeah.
Cheers for that.
Blame the Bombfields. That's brilliant. That could be a show of a new series. I quite like that.
Yes.
They'd go for that. Tonight, Liverpool playing in 50 minutes. I've just seen their 11. Darwin doesn't make the 11, but 4 of the other attackers do. Salah's obviously in. They're all in. Diaz is in. Jota's in. So I think it's going to be Jota number 9. And Hakpo, again, is playing in the midfield 3. One to monitor there.
Yeah.
Definitely not one for your FPL team's Hakpo this season.
Yeah. Is this just on Liverpool TV? Is this just is there any other way of watching it there? Because I've just looked through it here because I thought, that'd be quite handy. To have a Liverpool game running in the background while we're doing this, see how Salah's actually doing. But I've just looked through it. I can't get it here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it probably is.
I'm enjoying these club streams.
Yeah, I was enjoying on Sunday though. Before the Community Shield, Brighton were live on their YouTube channel, which was really for their last seat friendly. So for the hour build up, I had 2 screens and had the game on, which was useful for Brighton. By the way, João Pedro took the penalty again.
Did he?
2 penalties pre-season for João Pedro. The first one, Pascal Gross wasn't on the pitch, and he was on pens before McAllister. So it was good to see João Pedro take the penalty with Gross on the pitch. We're going to be speaking about João Pedro later because this show is going to be about enablers. We're then going to look at the community team, make some changes, and of course, tee up some predictions for later in the season. Our Premier League predictions, our top 4, our Golden Glove, our Golden Boot, etc., etc.
Yeah. Oh,
for
Lungani
many,
with a cheeky little shout out there for a stream. I can't do that. There's no way I trust the Airbnb and this Wi-Fi to stream a game and do a live show. So unfortunately, I still can't do it. But thanks, Lungani. A few people might be able to jump on that. Steve Jones has commented. That is literally my dad's name. Says, hi, Gianni and Dean. I'm the same as Dean. Salah is going to go big this season. Have to go with my gut and not the boring template. Mate, do you know what's quite funny? Like when we first started this show, you would talk about the template team, and it wasn't really a term like I would take fantasy as a casual, right? I was just like obviously a football journalist, but just this was like a side hobby rather than more than actually working. And like I've never heard the term fantasy FPL template like it is right now.
yeah,
Like, even my friends that are casuals in it are messaging being like, what's this template thing that's ruining the game this season? And I think the sent selected by button is really annoying. I really don't like it. I don't think that should go live pre-season. I think that they should consider not doing that next year, because you could easily leave this till the last minute, go through the percent selected by, make sure it adds up to enough, and you know that your team's not going to be far short of people that are putting proper time and effort on this.
Yeah, mate. I love that idea. I would love it to be hidden as well. I'd love it to be hidden, and but annoyingly, if it was hidden, there's still that many third-party tools that can tell you what percent owned, not just players are, but what
but you've got to
percent
go out
owned
of your
players
way
are.
to do that. So that's still
You got to
proper
find
effort.
it.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
still got to have the dedication. And if you've got that dedication, then fair enough, you can go and do it. But like my wife could go and set up a team tonight, and it potentially be better than mine because she could just literally look at that.
Yeah, yeah. And as Steve also mentions, like the content creators do help to add to that bloody template. Guilty.
I'm not.
But that's why content creators like that's why the Chasing Green Arrows channel is hopefully quite a lot of fun for you guys, because we do like to talk about some non-template options, and we have put together a community team, and we want that community team to be a little bit more non-template than it is. And tonight you guys will help add to that. So yeah, I mean, look, in the last week since you've been off, we've had Jesus injury, we've had Nkunku injury. The template is moving off Jesus, obviously, because he'll miss game week 1, and then go into Ollie Watkins. And I think it's a right decision. I think it's a sensible decision. Darwin and Nkunku would have been two really nice options, and it would have been Darwin, Nkunku, or Watkins.
Right.
Really annoyingly, Darwin can't get a start pre-season. He didn't start the last one either, and Nkunku's now out for 2 months. So Watkins, how do you feel about that, Dean? Because Aston Villa under Emery, I think, are a little bit underrated. Like we haven't really been looking at Villa players, yet he's actually missed a couple of penalties pre-season. I think he's missed both the penalties he's taken, but he scored bundles of goals, and he is playing well, and the fixtures are all right for Villa.
So spoiler alert, one of the things I've tinkered with when I've taken Jesus out, Watkins has gone in, and I haven't even that's not off anything I've seen online, because I haven't been online, I haven't been watching anything or reading Twitter. So yeah, that is just something like I sat as like, what are my options here? Looked at again at the fixtures and stuff, and I was like, it's a massive oversight really to not even consider Ollie Watkins. Now look, if I do end up getting Salah, it might be that I can't keep Watkins. I don't know at this point whether that would still be possible, but I did change Ferguson to João Pedro as my Brighton attacking asset, and then brought in Watkins. So that was one of the little tinkers that I have done. We'll have to see whether I stick with that. I mean, there's still a fair chance I don't, but he's going to get goals, and with Diaby in there, that's the thing niggling away at me. Diaby is one of those players that is boom or bust in the Premier League. You know, you get these signings, and look, he's brilliant. There's no doubt he's a great player. But Nicolas Pepe was a great player. Like, genuinely, Nicolas Pepe could have been a brilliant signing for someone, but it was a price tag that was stupid at a team at that moment he didn't really suit, and he was probably thrown into a bit too early. If Pepe had come at a different time to a different team, I think he could have been a hit. But it's these players that are like, full of skills, full of trick, full of pace. If things don't start well, it might not work out. So that's the kind of only doubt I have whether Diaby is definitely going to fly.
Comment in the chat about Pedro Porro, 3 goals, 3 assists. Is he first choice? I don't know if he is. he played Emerson yesterday, Postecoglou, and Emerson played well. The guy who is nailed at 4.5 million is the left back, Udoji. Check him out. He is nailed for Spurs. If you're going for a Spurs defender, he's your pick. Good FPL asset as well. I owned him a bit in Serie A fantasy last year for Udinese, and he's useful, so he gets forward. Do we keep Matoma or do we go team Eze or Diaby, says Eddie? Well, the chat voted Eze when we did a poll on Friday. And we put Eze in our community team.
Oh, wow.
I'm very much team Matoma, who looked sharp for Brighton, missed a big chance, a one-on-one. I want to cover that Brighton attack. If you're not going João Pedro, I think you should be going with Matoma or March, one of the Brighton lads.
Did you have any big takeaways from the Community Shield, or do you think you'll ignore it?
I thought about taking Foden out. I've got Foden in my team, and I was like, oh, Foden's not in the 11. Like, classic Pep. We all thought he'd finally be in the 11, and he's not in the 11. But he's not in the 11 against in a really important game, and I think that's okay because I want him in the 11 for Burnley and Fulham.
True, yeah.
And I think there's a good chance he misses the Super Cup, which is wedged between game week 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he might miss some of the Premier League games when they play top 6 opposition. But the other games, I do think Foden's going to start. And Burnley game week 1, I'm confident of a Foden start. Therefore, I'm keeping Foden in.
Okay.
But it was interesting to see, even with Gundogan and Mahrez going, you still playing, Alvarez instead of Foden in the kind of off Haaland or Bernardo Silva, we know always gets a nod on the right-hand side in the big games. But in the not-so-big games, I think Foden's going to get plenty of minutes. But, it was interesting. I mean, Havertz playing number 9, but I don't think that necessarily means we're going to see Havertz. Havertz has gone and scored a brace. You go, oh, let's put Havertz in. Arteta's going to play in number 9 game week 1. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Nketiah get the nod now, game week 1. What do you reckon?
Yeah. I tell you what, so again, like when I think of my team the other day, I thought, look, Havertz is the 9, and they got Forest at home. Like, I'm going to stick him in for now, just while I mess around with the team a little bit. So Havertz is actually in my team. I watched that game, and I was like, oh, is it going to be same old story? Like, Chelsea created chances for him last season.
Yeah.
He couldn't take them. And in watching the Community Shield, I'm like, I don't want to read too much into this one game, but it does look a bit samey. And I don't know that I want to be banking on someone that at that price point, or is he 7.5?
Yeah.
This is again is why. So I'd say my big takeaway from the Community Shield might be, at the moment, I've got Foden and Havertz in my team. Is there a way I could get a Salah or Salah, not a Salah, and just find a couple of cheaper options around my squad that allows me to actually have Salah and Haaland in my team? I think that is where I'm heading.
You are looking for enablers, so let's get to some enablers, guys. We'll have a look next up with tips and chips. Oh, so we need some enablers in defense, but we also need them in the attacking position. So let's do the defense real quick, because these are just these are bench players. This is bench number 2 or bench number 3 spot in your team. Maybe you've got 2 4.0s, but most have got 1. The standout for me, well, this is personal preference. We don't know how these 3 teams are going to play. All we know is Luton and Burnley don't have a fixture game week 2.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've got Man City players, say you've got Triple City, you might worry about Foden or John Stones or whoever not playing game week 2 because of the Super Cup. So therefore, maybe it makes sense to go for Baldock. Baldock isn't necessarily nailed when everyone's fit, but Bogle, who's his competition on that side, is out injured at the moment. So Baldock is nailed for the start of the season, which is why he's 9% owned. And because we know him from years gone by. Kabore is going to start as right back, and so is Bayer going to start as centre back. Kabore offers a bit of assist threat, and Bayer offers a bit of goal. Bayer has scored pre-season. He'll go up for set pieces, headers. But this just comes down to which team do you think is going to keep the most clean sheets? That's like, forget upside with these guys. Who do you think gets the most clean sheets? And I think the most difficult place to go might be Luton. And therefore, I'm expecting quite a few home clean sheets, I think, at Luton. But I don't know. It's such a who do you back for the most clean sheets here, Dean? And in the chat, let us know. Maybe we can put a poll together. Who's going to get the most clean sheets? Sheffield United, Luton, or Burnley, and see what you guys think.
Well, I might have to look at the managers involved, to be honest, to see what I trust. And in that case, I'd probably go Burnley and think Vincent Kompany, what he's been able to achieve in a short space of time as a manager in England, getting them back up, knowing that he was a great defender himself, knowing that that might be one of his big strengths when setting up a team, just to frustrate people. That might be where I would be veering on that basis. Mark says Sheffield United are losing players hand over fist, they're in trouble. But then Leo straight away says Sheffield United will get the most clean sheets. So, we're obviously all guessing at this point. Like until the season starts proper, we don't know how these teams are going to react to being in the Premier League. It could be, for example, that Luton get an absolute hiding on the first day of the season and that they're reeling from that. And they get a week to recover. And then they got to play Chelsea, who could be thinking, right, this is a chance for us to really stamp our authority on this season. So I would be a little bit wary of Luton. Like their first time ever in the Premier League, they could genuinely be rubbish. They really could. So I would be a bit cautious of that. Resting Pilgrim says Luton have the best early fixtures. You could say that, but this is Luton and they're playing Brighton, Chelsea, West Ham, Fulham. Like these are all teams with Premier League pedigree and Luton have got none.
Yep. Yeah, it's fair point. Fair point. Kabore, I think I said forget about the upside because these are 4 million defenders. Just go for who gets to get the most clean sheet. And I don't know if I am backing Luton for the most clean sheets, but I do have Kabore in my team, and I think it is because I'm like, oh, he'll get the odd assist or two because this is a guy that played 4 times in the Champions League last year. But the week you need him in your team because you got injuries or whatever, or suspensions, and he comes in, what are the chances that week he actually gets his 3 assists of the season? So I think maybe I have to reconsider that and maybe go towards Sheffield United or Burnley. But yeah, it seems pretty split in the chat, which is interesting. So look, let's move on to some of the more attacking players because this is where the discussion becomes a little bit more fun. So
I was going to say, just to end on the defenders, like my enabler in defence is Malo Gusto. Obviously, I'm doing the old Reece James rotation act. So he's a 4.0, and that at the moment, I am sticking with what we talked about with Liv when she was on. That if Reece doesn't play, then Malo Gusto, I'm assuming, will play, and it means I'm always covered for that spot in the Chelsea team. And I'm quite happy, with an outlay of what will be 9.5 million over those 2 assets, that I'll always have a Chelsea player playing. So that is where I'm going on that one still.
I like that. And with the announcement literally half an hour ago that Nkunku is going to be out for a couple of months, there is a very good chance Reece James is the penalty taker. I actually think he will be. Wow. So with Reece on pens, like he's just become a way better asset because I look at the Chelsea fullbacks and think you just go Chilwell over Reece for the reasons kind of Liv mentioned, and he's so attacking. But there's a big argument to say you consider both of them, and because has there been any Nkunku news? Yeah, it's been reported that he's going to be out for a couple of months. Like there's good sexy picks in that Chelsea midfield and attack. I'm like, none of them are as good as 5.5 Reece James. Like you'll get clean sheets and you'll still get attacking returns. Mudryk at 6.5, Jackson at 7, Sterling if he can turn it on at 7, and that they could be really good assets. But I'm not sure they're better than the 2 fullbacks. So yeah, let's have a look at the attacking players. We've just got 3 here. Danjuma, Morris, and João Pedro. I'm surprised by the ownerships here. I thought Danjuma would be a bit higher. I think he missed the last friendly for Everton, and Calvert-Lewin played well, but ideally they'll both be in the 11. But João Pedro seems to be becoming at Brighton. When you look at the minutes pre-season, like the talisman in this team, the main man in this team, playing number 10 just off Danny Welbeck, but he's getting sets of 90 pre-season now, and having the penalties. That's 2 pre-season. He's playing with swagger. He's playing like the club record buy, and I think 5.5 million. There's a big argument to say if you own Matoma at 6.5 and you're playing a 3-5-2, you could consider changing formation, play a 3-4-3, and save the million and have João Pedro. What do you reckon, Dean? Are you expecting big things from Pedro at Brighton?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really interesting impact so far. So definitely, I'm still waiting to see what else they do. They're making such good moves in the market, and if they end up getting Mohamed Kudus, then that might change things. I haven't seen whether there's been any news on that today. Obviously, it's early out here at the moment, but Kudus obviously has been linked with a few teams, but Brighton definitely in that hunt. I think Chelsea are still sniffing around that, but Chelsea should probably just let Brighton have him so that they can get Caicedo. So that will be interesting. But João Pedro, I think at 5.5, it's a great option. I mean, it's 0.5 cheaper than Evan Ferguson, and I think if you're picking one of those right now, then João Pedro has got to be your Brighton asset, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think he has, and I think De Zerbi, Zerbi wants him to be his main man. So yeah, it's interesting with Kudus because I think he's played more minutes in kind of the João Pedro role as the sort of number 10. But then when you look at his minutes last season, I think he played a lot of them out on the right. So Solly March minutes are definitely going to be limited here. I think with his addition, aren't they? I think when we look at those attacking 4 spots, Matoma still feels the safest for minutes because there's just very few that play on the left. But on the right, there's now Kudus. We know there's so many that play in the number 10 and the number 9, like Ferguson and Enciso. I thought were going to be starting the season. They've barely had any minutes pre-season. I guarantee it, they're not starting game week 1, those 2 players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so João Pedro is the one. I mean, just for anyone that's aware, like João Pedro is not a centre back. Obviously, that's just an error on the graphic right now.
Oh yeah.
So ignore that. He's just as a forward, isn't he, in the game? Yeah.
He's a forward in the game. So is Dan Juma. He's not a left mid. He's a forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are all forwards. So yeah, but in terms of what you get, Dan Juma just worries me. Like, I don't think I would go. Like, good player. Like, could definitely have impact, but I just don't trust Everton at all. Like, they're not going to score goals, and if they do, I still expect it's going to be Calvert-Lewin. So I wouldn't touch Danjuma until I've actually seen how Everton start the season, because it could be a bad one.
Yeah. And Morris, are we expecting Luton? Because I look at Luton and think they're gonna keep some clean sheets at home. They might win a few games 1-0, but I'm not sure I'd be backing any Luton attacking player to score goals. I think the strikers for the newly promoted teams, historically, there's always one that kind of catches your eye and has a few good weeks. And Solanke's done it. And I remember Teemu Pukki doing it. And they can be some really good 5.5 million players in FPL. But buying them before you've seen anything from them just feels naive. So it's kind of a wait and see with the newly promoted strikers.
Yeah. That's true. By the way, before I forget, I mean, a lot of people in the comments keep talking about Harry Maguire going to West Ham, so I'll address that while people are asking. I think it's going around on Twitter now that there's a £30 million offer going in for Maguire. It's a really interesting one. I mean, obviously, Moyes is trying to get in a couple of players that fit his profile. He's obviously at loggerheads with the other guy that's working on transfers there now. But Maguire is definitely someone that Moyes wants in there. I think actually it's a pretty good fit, and there is talk that, like, if Maguire does go to West Ham, he becomes captain of West Ham.
Oh Christ! So yeah, they
haven't got a captain, and the only other option I've heard of is Souček was the other person that they were considering to give the armband to. So Harry Maguire goes to West Ham, becomes captain, helps him obviously stay in the England picture. How much is he as an asset in FPL? I'm still not sure. I'll be going in there, but
it's probably a 4.5 defender. I'll have a look now. He's 4.5. Yeah,
there's a 4.5, so that does make it a bit more interesting. If it's 5, I think you could completely ignore it. But maybe 4.5. Like,
he wins a lot of headers as well for the attacking headers. Gets his head on everything.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Obviously, West Ham have to make a signing like this week. They've got to change the feel around that club. Like, it's ridiculous how badly their window's gone so far. But yeah, West Ham are trying to tie this one up quite quickly. I mean, £30 million. You could look at two ways. What some people will think that sounds a rip-off for Harry Maguire when you consider a few years ago this is an £80 million footballer. Like, pretty good deal, to be honest. Like, he's a regular for England. He's been at Man United all these years. He's a good player. Like, he's just been trolled a lot, and people have drawn a picture of him that isn't quite fair, to be honest. If you think of what Harry Maguire was like at the World Cup, he was fine. He's absolutely fine. He's still a really good player. I said before, I'd actually take him at Fulham. So, yeah, Maguire at West Ham does seem like something that will happen. Obviously, Scamacca has left West Ham now. He's going to Atalanta. So
yeah, who are paying more money than Inter Milan, which is crazy, seeing as Inter got to a Champions League final. Neil says West Ham will get creamed without Rice. Love that.
Yeah, they might do. They might do. It's going to be interesting. They've got it. Look, West Ham will make quite a few additions late in the window. Be aware of that. Like the squad we're looking at now is not what West Ham's squad is going to be.
Let's come away from the budget enabler chat then and have a little chat with you guys. So before we show the community team, we will just answer maybe a couple of questions, but also wanted to mention on Wednesday this week at 2 p.m. UK time, producer, correct me if I'm wrong, we've got Big Man Bakar joining the stream for a new show. So Dean, the idea is that every Wednesday is going to be a Big Man Bakar special where he addresses some of his big questions of the week.
Nice.
And he's known for doing these legendary threads on social, and they often start with a couple of questions. So those questions are going to be in video form on the Wednesday before he puts those posts out on Twitter, which gain loads of popularity. So we look forward to welcoming some new faces to our Chaser group. But nothing will change in terms of me and Dean on Mondays and Fridays, which will continue with us two and then the occasional guest as well.
Yeah. No, nice, mate. It's a big signing for CGA. And good, look, just more insight for us all to take on board. Obviously, he's got a different approach to the game and obviously looks at it very deep detail, but finds some nice little quirks of the algorithms that you're looking at, of the little stats he finds. Like, it's going to give us all a nice little edge to the season, I think, in between the two main shows that we already do. So yeah, happy to have him on board, mate, and look forward to watching those.
Yeah, FPL River says Big Man Bakar, top signing for CGA. CGH, as always, supporting us in the chat. Thanks, CH. It says hit that like button, and so you should, all of you. Harry says afternoon all, love that. So guys, what do you reckon? Should we answer, see if there's a couple of questions that have come up before we see the Chaser team? So Luke, the individual ones are difficult like this, man. Like, give me an X or a Y, but 3 lines to read during the live stream's tricky, and I think you've been spamming a bit. But look, seeing as you're new, we'll answer your question. But note to self, those that spam don't get answered, usually. 1 million in the bank. Would you recommend to go Foden to Bruno? Okay, but I don't want to double. Okay, it's the same dilemma as I've got. Exactly the same dilemma as me, mate. Like, I don't have Bruno. I have Rashford. I could get both, and I could sell Foden. I'm keeping the faith for the reasons I said earlier. I think Foden's going to play against weaker teams. And yes, you're going to have that anxiety over every time you see a Pep team sheet. Does he, doesn't he? And the fear with Foden is if he doesn't start, he's coming off the bench, so you'll get a lot of 1-pointers. But if you think you can balance that with some 15-pointers, then so be it. I don't think I'll have him long term, but I think I'll have him for a bit.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We got a question: a Darwin and Jota, or a Bruno and Pedro? Well, we talked about Darwin earlier on in the show. It doesn't look like he's going to be starting games. So on that base alone, wouldn't really be
and if he does, then Jota's not. So you
that's it. Those two are going to be on the field together probably a lot of the time. And you could look at it as, well, I'll always have a Liverpool goal scoring asset on the pitch. I mean, you could look at it from that angle and be like, you're covered.
What if you pick the wrong one and you just get
the wrong one? Exactly, that's the problem.
No, good question. Odegaard's not had much love. Gabriel asked about, is Odegaard a good option? And I think he really is. Like, I'm going Martinelli, but Odegaard, I think, isn't getting the love because he's 0.5 more expensive. Odegaard's the same price as Saka. There's no contest there. You pick Saka.
Yeah.
But as a standalone price for 8.5 for Odegaard, competitive. You know, that's the same price as Bruno. And I don't think much splits Odegaard and Bruno, other than probably penalties. And Bruno does have them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good question.
Yep.
Next up, Alan, he's got 2.5 budget and a team I'm quite happy with. Thoughts on leaving it in the bank? Yeah, mate. Leave money in the bank is fine. Because I guarantee after a week or two, there will be a bandwagon we want to jump on that we can't afford. Well, you might be able to afford it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is a thing. We all look to just get rid of all our cash. but you're right. Like what we're seeing now just is not going to be true. Like even the template, like it's just made up. Like we don't really know what we're going to be getting when the season starts, and there will be players that let us down, and there'll be players that we just hadn't considered who start really well. So you will have a little edge yourself if you've got money in the bank. Is 3-4-3 now an option again with the João Pedro seemingly nailed? I mean, it could be, yeah. I still think there's so many midfield options that most people will be going 3-5-2, but I think it's good that the variations are coming now. Not everyone's going to be going with the same lineups.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's just the battle in your head is, would you prefer Matoma or Pedro? If the answer is Pedro, there's nothing wrong with that formation.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Mount as a 7 million differential? I'm not so keen yet. Bruno was going to be more advanced. And even then, I don't think Bruno's going to be as advanced as perhaps we've seen in the past. Yeah. I actually, if I was spending 7 million on the United midfield, don't shout at me, chat, but I'd go Anthony. He's super high and super wide. He's playing like, his average position maps are like Mo Salah. He's no Mo Salah. And I don't rate him as a footballer, but as an FPL asset, Anthony at 7 million has actually been a little bit overlooked.
Yeah, well, people, again, it's just because he's, slated on the internet all the time, mainly. But you're right, he's going to be in good positions, in a good team, and he's going to start converting and he's going to make chances. Like he's going to end up over the course of a season. If you were loyal to somebody like Anthony, you'd probably do all right from it.
Yeah. And he gets, like last year, he missed loads of chances, but his numbers, if you're a numbers manager, are actually really good. Like he was getting the chances. He was just wasteful. He scored and assisted the last preseason game. Don't mind Anthony. Saya says Pedro or Matoma if you're only picking one. No, let's put a poll together in the chat. Pedro or Matoma, you guys tell us. Personally, I'm on Matoma in my team, but I like Pedro a lot.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. By the way, there's a bit of news going around at the moment about Gary O'Neill going in for the Wolves job. That is one to take seriously. There's definitely. I've had a couple of texts about it this morning from a couple of other journalists saying, "Oh, that there is something in this." Like, sometimes journalists get together just to see if everyone's getting the same info or whatever. So I've had a couple of people like, "Oh, if you hear anything on this, like, let us know." Like, there's definitely something in it. So that's an interesting one to keep your eyes out for. Wolves have had, not a great pre-season, have they? I mean, their squad's in a bit of a shambles.
And they got so much money in as well from Neves.
Loads in, but they got massive FFP problems still to deal with. It's frustrated Lopetegui. Don't seem to have much threat. We've even taken Raul Jimenez at Fulham and he scored the other day. Yeah. So it's not looking great over at Wolves. We've got Harry Kane. Look, someone's got Harry Kane. Oh, nice, Nash.
I mean, nice differential. Like he's become a differential. He scored 4 goals yesterday, and it looks like he's staying. Dean, do you think he stays?
I mean, look, the only concern I'd have is that Bayern are now at the levels that you could actually get him out of the club at, and the fact that Bayern are getting rid of Sadio Mane makes me think they're more confident than ever that they're actually going to land Harry Kane. I don't think that they would have just let Mane go. I know he hadn't done particularly well and fitted in very well, but they're letting him go. I think it's an indicator that they really still feel confident on Kane. I know that doesn't fit the exact wave of optimism they might be around Kane staying at the moment, but whatever deadlines were supposed to be set for Friday night, that's not a real deadline. I'm always like, it's like the deadline is the end of the month, and that is always the case. Ange Postecoglou was obviously talking about this as well after that game. He's clearly frustrated at Bayern being so aggressive over this and going so public and leaking all this info around it. And it has been quite strange, to be honest, that the German side of things have had such solid information throughout this, but it's all been right. Like they've led this. Like the English media have kind of just had to follow, because there's nothing coming out of Kane's camp on this, and Tottenham obviously aren't advising anything on it. So, keep your eyes on the German media in the coming days.
Yeah. Thoughts on doubling on Reece and Chile? I mentioned earlier, I don't hate it at all, especially with the Nkunku news. The Nkunku news is big because it means Reece James could be on penalties, guys. He could have been on pens anyway, but I like it. Neil said Kane's wife is evidently pregnant and can't travel after the next 2 weeks. She can drive to Germany, mate. Don't worry about that.
I had no idea that she was pregnant. Is that actually not? I didn't know that was a thing that was going around at the moment. But yeah, Germany's not that bad. I'm sure they could get around it. I've always wondered whether they'd move abroad. I was always like, because of their family life here, I did always wonder whether that would be a thing. And if she's pregnant, that obviously adds another layer to it. But that's not a new pregnancy. That's not a new thing that Harry Kane didn't know a couple of months ago when he started negotiating with Bayern. So he'll have got his head around whatever needs to be done logistically.
Who would you pick, Matoma or Pedro? The chat, 75% João Pedro.
Whoa.
I can't remember who's in our community team, but if we have Matoma in there, we are going to change it to João Pedro and change the formation if we have to. But I can't even remember if we've got Matoma. I don't think we have. But guys, let's get to that community team, because this really is the penultimate time to tweak the team, but the last time we deemed to tweak the team. So actually, I think we'll try and make all of our changes in the next 20 minutes and lock ourselves in if we can. We'll do some quick fire stuff. Because Dean, it's no fun doing it without you, mate. This is our
thanks,
thing.
mate.
This is our thing.
I'm sorry, everyone. I am going to miss the last show before we get into the season. I will literally be traveling home back to England. So I was like, could we do Thursday? Like Friday, I'm definitely like going to be completely out of it, even if I get home at a decent time. And Thursday, I'm going to be at the airport on a plane, whatever. Like, there's just no way around it, unfortunately. So this is it for me. This is my last chance to get your guys' advice, to try and bounce a few things around this community. So yeah, let's do it.
All right, wicked. If you're watching on catch up, you can still play along. You can put your thoughts in the comments. And guys, thank you for all the likes and the subscribes. Let's have a look now at the Chaser team we've built so far. Tonight is going to be the time to make some changes. We'll pick our captain on Thursdays or Fridays stream whenever we do it. And I think that might be someone that's not named Erling Haaland, which will be loads of fun.
Yep.
So the Chaser team so far looks like this. Guys, don't forget, we've got a special stream on Wednesday with Big Man Bakar, 2 p.m. UK time. Don't forget that one. So the Chaser team at the moment, forget the goalkeeper. It is Onana. I promise you, we've got Onana in goal. Where do we want to make changes? Ignore the bench, guys. We're going to do the bench later. We'll update it. Don't worry about that. But we put Eze in for Matoma. We put Watkins in for Jesus. I think Darwin has come in and then gone out again. So we're trying to be a bit differential.
Yeah.
So
where's João Pedro fitting into it?
Where does João Pedro fit? Who'd we sell for João Pedro? Foden could go.
Foden could go.
There's loads of Foden out. This chat don't want Foden. I know they don't.
Yeah. And I think that's fair at this point. I don't mind that too much. I mean, obviously we'll take a slight risk because they're playing Burnley and they could absolutely batter them, and Foden might well play in that one.
Okay, so we could go Foden out for. We could find a way of converting him to Mo Salah. We'll just do it. We'll find a way. We could find a way of converting him to João Pedro. And then who are the other options you would want out for Foden? Let's give one more good midfield option. Guys, give us some inspiration or forwards.
Yeah.
Bruno. There we go. Good option. Emmanuel says Bruno. So, guys, should we go Salah, Bruno, or João Pedro? And it'll be a change in formation.
Let's see what starts to come in. Interesting that we're going this way. I mean,
if we go Mo Salah, mate,
Salah's going to take a massive rejig if people decide we're going that way. Oh no, Luke says Foden to Salah. Let's see what people vote for there. I mean, I think João Pedro for Foden is quite nice in a way. It gives you a bit of money in the bank as well, and it makes us more adaptable when things start, changing up. It means might have a little bit to play with. We could be more reactive to the first couple of game weeks, so that could be very interesting. But obviously,
winning.
Yeah, but
few, because if you guys go Mo Salah, we're going to be here all night.
Yeah, don't vote for Salah. I'll put Salah in mine. Don't do it here right now. A lot of people saying Diaby all of a sudden.
Let's go João Pedro. We're going to lock that in at 73 votes. Guys, thank you for voting. It's tight. Mo Salah was second. So what does that do? What does that do to us?
Changes quite a bit about who else we need to get rid of.
So it's Archer for João Pedro.
Yeah.
So that's
bye-bye
plus
Archer.
one. That's plus 1 million.
Okay.
And then Foden comes. So we're 0.5 million in the red here.
Yeah.
But we need to sell Foden.
Yeah, so Foden has to be
So
downgraded.
should we do Foden to a 4.5 million mid because we're changing the formation? We need an enabler. So let's go Anderson at 4.5 million mid because he's the best option.
Yeah.
So what does that do? 4.5, 5.6, 7.5. So that's 3 million. I think that puts us 2.5 million in the green.
Yeah, and I think that's not a bad place to be. So to lose those two, Foden and Archer, bringing a midfielder that might play, to be fair, like it's not a bad enabler at all. And yeah, we've got a proper goal scoring threat now. If you could think of what João Pedro is going to bring in terms of goal potential compared to Foden and Archer, I think that's pretty good replacement.
Yeah. All right, so we've got 2.5 million in the green. What do we want to do with our 2.5 million? Do we want to okay, we've got a couple of options. We could either replace the 4.5 million mid with a good sub option, like we could go for a 6.5 million mid, but that would mean João Pedro or that 6.5 million mid on the bench every week. Don't like that. Or we could spend that 2.5 million on a defender, I guess. I guess we could go instead of we could have a good defensive option. So instead of a 4.5 Botman, we could have pretty much any defender in the game other than Trent. 5.5, 6.5. That gives 7 million to spend on Botman. We can't get to Trent. Do we want Trent as an option? Yes or no should be the next question.
Yeah.
Because if we can get 1 million short of Trent, we can find a way of getting him in.
So obviously I haven't been on the show for a week. When I'd last recorded, I wasn't looking at Trent as an option. I haven't reconsidered that. Is there signs that he's a good asset again? Because obviously he was playing like a DM and he was like, where's he playing? Is he playing tonight? Is he playing right now?
Playing right back tonight. And in the right back role, that's actually better for him, right? Because he's inverted in midfield.
Yeah, so that's
he's
fine,
more free. But the chat are all saying no. Let's just do a quick poll. Trent, yes or no, and then we can get a gauge for it. Otherwise, guys, we've got 2.5 million to upgrade somewhere else. I hope that's 2.5. I hope that's good maths.
No, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is.
At the moment, the chat are pretty convinced on no. Yeah, that's a no. 80%.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2.5 million to spend. Who do you want to upgrade? Give us some suggestions, guys. Yeah. We can leave money in the bank if you want. We could just go Botman to Reece James or Gabriel or whoever, and then leave 1.5 million in the bank. Like that works. I think the upgrade has to come from Botman.
Yeah, why is there's a question in this earlier. Actually, I saw a comment that say, why is everyone jumping off of Newcastle? Has that been a theme, or is that just a coincidence that it feels like people aren't backing Newcastle at the moment?
Yeah, I think we're just scared of their fixtures. I think we just look at it and go, it's such a tough start. But Barnes scored 2 yesterday, looked really good. Eze to Bruno, we could poll that.
Eze to Bruno isn't bad. I mean, we don't know what we're getting from Palace yet, do we? So Bruno definitely a bit more solid. I mean, do you want Bruno and Rashford? I mean, that's the thing that we're going to have to consider. Do we want Bruno and Rashford in our team?
There's a lot saying Gabriel or James. Okay, so do we upgrade the Eze position or the Botman position? That's the question.
Oh, yeah, that's the poll. Yeah.
And then we can look at Gabriel or Reece. No, we don't want both. So yeah, do you guys want to upgrade Eze or upgrade Botman? Yeah, Trent was 83%. No one was interested there. No one wanted Trent.
That's fine.
I've not looked at Trent either, to be fair.
Oh, good.
Chat seems like maybe more want to upgrade Botman. I don't know. We might put together a poll on that. If not, then we can just upgrade Botman. But let's see if a poll comes up in the next 10. If not, we'll move on.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, if you could give us a like right now, by the way, or subscribe if you're new here, we would really appreciate it. Over 200 of you in the chat right now, so thanks for being here live. We really do appreciate it, and it's great to have you on these live shows. If you're watching back though, do give us a like. We love them because it helps us. I'm going to vote on this one. I haven't voted on the others. Who do you want to upgrade? I'm going to vote for.
I want to upgrade Botman.
I've just literally pressed Botman, and Botman.
Eze's a bit of a good differential in our team, isn't he? Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that want Eze, myself included. He's not in my team, so I'd love the idea of him being in the Chaser team. I think Eze is going to have a really good season and a good start to the season. He's a great preseason.
It's a nice one to have up our sleeve, isn't he? Yeah, I'm surprised he's got 14% actually is quite high, I think, for Eze. I'm surprised actually for him to be higher than Foden seems quite funny, but there you go.
Okay, so we've got 2.5 million in the bank. We can have any defender in the game, but the options I think we go with Gabriel because we still have a third Arsenal asset. Reece James because I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
And then let's go for I think an Aston Villa defender. Let's go Pau Torres. Why not? Any other options, guys? Let us know. Saliba, Torres, Gabriel, Shaw. Oh, okay. Do you want to do a Shaw one then? So we do Shaw, James, 5.5. Gabriel, or Konza.
Oh, Konza, yeah.
Paul says Konza. We'll go Konza instead of Pau Torres. Yeah. Who would you go for, Dean? I think I would go double Chelsea for a bit of fun here.
Definitely would go double Chelsea on that. Like
the penalty appeal that Reece James could add.
Yeah, I mean, if Chilwell's already in this team, then that's fine. Like, leave it. But yeah, I'm going big on Reece James having the season of his life this year. I think it's going to be. He's got to live up to what his sister's doing at the moment, so he's got to go big at the start of the season. He can't.
That left foot volley
come out of the shadows. Yeah. She's gonna. Otherwise, she'll be. At the moment, she is the best player in the family, so he's got to bounce back and prove that. He's better than her. He's not winning the poll though. Reece James is not winning the poll. Gabriel,
oh no, it's going to be templatey. That's the template.
People still love a template pick. I can't see that Reece James is going to catch him here, but keep voting.
Keep voting, Reece, everyone.
He's caught up a little bit. Konza and Luke Shaw are dead horses in this race. They are nowhere to be seen. Reece has made up a little bit of ground, but I don't think he's going to catch him here. If you haven't voted, do vote. There's still loads of you that haven't voted, so it doesn't take long.
Okay, so look, we've got 1.5 million in the bank. No, sorry. Gabriel's only 5 million. So we've got 2 million in the bank. So currently, the team, just to recap, is João Pedro. It's a 3-4-3. João Pedro on the front three. Foden has dropped out and become Anderson. And Botman has jumped up to become Gabriel.
Yep.
So we have 2 million in the bank. Is there any major upgrade we want to make? We can afford Kevin De Bruyne, but I don't think we want to go Rashford to De Bruyne.
Nope.
There's no forwards above Watkins until you get to Haaland in terms of price. I think we're good.
It's a nice team.
So currently our bench would be Anderson, Bayer, and then Gabriel. We'd probably put Chilwell on the bench game week 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably would be.
Nice to have the money in the bank, though.
It's good to have that money in the bank. Like I was hoping that would happen because I do think after game week 1 and 2, we might be in a good situation to alter things very quickly and jump on different horse and see where we can go with how in terms of how things are starting to open up at other clubs. So, yeah, I like this, people. I think we've done a good job and I'm happy with the changes that took place while I was not here. I think this is looking like a strong team.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. So notes for our producer. The team, it goes to a 3-4-3. Anana goes into the goalkeeper position. Oh, instead of Ariala, we'll drop Turner in there when he signs for Nottingham Forest because probably they're going to be the best 4.0 option.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll have João Pedro in the 11, Chilwell sub 1, and Anderson goes in for Foden as a second option there. Nice, I quite like that. And look, we'll have another look at that team on Thursday to lock it in.
I didn't realise Reece James' sister had got sent off in that England game today. I haven't watched it.
Mate, you'll have to Search that. It's a clip worth watching. She stands on someone. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Sorry. Well done, Eddie. I haven't seen that.
I wasn't sure if you'd seen that or not. I was
No, I've
gonna.
only seen the game. I saw the game before when she had the absolute worldie
screamer.
Yeah. So that was my last impression. Obviously, this game was played in the middle of the night.
I swear that game was 2 days ago as well. It feels like that game was just the other day.
Yeah. I saw that England won on penalties, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I saw the score just before we were coming on here. I saw it pop up, but I haven't seen any of it yet. So thanks, Eddie, for pointing that out. Maybe Reece James won't find it quite so hard to live up to that. God, I don't want a Reece James red card. No, thanks.
I've just had a text from Olivia. I asked her to do a show last week, and she only just messaged back. So she said, "I'm so sorry, Janie, just catching up my messages. Shall I ask her now if she can do Thursday's show?"
Do it, mate. Yeah, she should reply by next Thursday.
Get her while she's online. Actually, I'm going to send her a voice note. Hey Liv, I'm live on Chasing Green Arrows at the moment, and I just wanted to drop you a voice note because the chat wanted to say hi. Dean also says hello. I don't think you'll hear him because he's in my headphones, but any chance you can do the Thursday show, which is our last show before game week 1. I think we're looking at doing it around, sort of mid to late afternoon, but we could be flexible. So do let us know.
She's listening to that thinking, what is he doing?
That is legit. Just to prove that, I'm just gonna Hey Liv, I'm live on
There you go, people. That is how we put this show together. It is so professional around here.
Oh, that is brilliant. Bring Dean on the FPL show when you're next in the studio, mate. I would love that, but unfortunately, we're going down to one guest this season, so it's just going to be me or Sam or Az or whoever as a standalone guest alongside Kelly. But there'll be plenty of guests, I think, doing video calls as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm equipped. I can do transfer shows. I'm not sure anyone wants me on an FPL show just yet. I've got to improve a little bit first.
Mate, if you go another flying season, though, the beauty of doing FPL content...
I need to broaden my horizons. I need more income streams. Maybe that should be my motivation behind my rank this season.
Mate, genuinely, if you have a great season, because you're already in a place where you do FPL content, you'll be lauded as some sort of FPL expert and guru after just a few months if you have one good year. So honestly, it's worth taking proper seriously.
Yeah, maybe I should. I tell you what, I did have a message overnight from our mate who's don't think in the chat today, FPL Guns, Ali, the winner from last year, and he's sending me a copy of this book. You've read it, haven't you?
Love that. It's really good.
Is it good?
Really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Definitely worth a read. And do you know what? You can read it it's not too heavy on the word count, so you can probably read it in a couple of hours. So it might be suitable even before game week 1 for some.
Yeah, so people look out for that. Ali on his, I presume I don't know if he's is he pushing it on his Twitter already? I imagine he probably is. But look out for FPL Guns on Twitter. He's giving tips. Obviously, the money is going. He's putting money towards charity as well from money he makes from this book. Obviously, the winner of FPL last year, he said to me, "This has been a real labour of love, but I'm really proud of it, and I'm desperate to get it in front of people." So obviously, this is a place that is going to want to read some stuff like that. So yeah, check out Ali's stuff. He's put a lot of time into this book to try and give us all some tips.
Yeah, exactly. That I've completely forgot we're going to do some predictions today. So look, we've still got a couple of minutes left. Let's quickly get through who we think will get top 4, who's going to go down, and who's going to get top 4. The chat can let us know as well. Dean, I'm going to kick us off.
Okay.
I think top 4. I think both Manchester clubs and Arsenal, but I'm going to go Chelsea to sneak into the top 4, which means no Liverpool, no Spurs, no Brighton. But I just look at that Liverpool team. I think they're in transition and they're conceding so many goals. So I'm going to go Chelsea top 4 just.
I'm going to actually go the other way and back Liverpool to gel across this season and come back because they ended last season so well and they put such a good strong run of results together that kind of saved their season a little bit. So I think Liverpool will make the top 4. I actually think they might end up coming second and giving Man City the best run for their money. I am going to back Arsenal to make the top 4 because it would be silly not to. But I don't think Arsenal will do as well as they did last season, even though they are stronger now than they were. I think that they're going to face new challenges along the way. I think people will have studied them a lot closer. They're going to have more game plans. So I need to see Arsenal prove me wrong. Look, they proved me wrong last season when I was doubting them. They could well do it again, but I'll say they'd make the top 4, obviously. And then, Man United is going to have to be the team 4 for me. So, sorry, mate. I'm not. I can't bank on Chelsea at the moment. I'm just not seeing. Look, once you get Caicedo through the door, if that happens, then I might be a bit more hopeful. At the moment, I just see this huge hole in the centre of your team that is just like gaping, and it should have been fixed by now. And the season starts in a week, and it's not.
No Nkunku at the start of the season's bad for us as well.
Yeah,
like we needed him. We needed him because we definitely lack something up there. Jackson's doing well, but where's his service going to come from without Nkunku?
Yeah, we didn't even Newcastle there.
Yeah. Relegation. I'm going to go one of the newly promoted teams to stay up. I think I'll be Burnley. So the other 2 down. Alongside, I think Wolves are in trouble, especially now with the manager rumours. So I think Wolves could be done.
Yeah,
I won't be looking at FPL assets from Wolves, that's for sure.
No way, yeah. Wolves are definitely early strugglers, so I'm going to throw them into the mix as well. Luton, I'm giving them no chance. I think Luton go down. I think Wolves go down. And which other side will go? I'm going to say Sheffield United go as well. And I think Burnley stay up.
Mark says Sheffield United, West Ham and Wolves. Interesting. Sheffield United. Gets Footsie says Forest, Luton and Sheffield United. I don't mind the Forest shout, actually. I think they could have a bit of second season syndrome.
They might.
Yeah, some interesting ones. Guys, thank you so much for predictions. We're going to be back, remember, on Wednesday. Do not forget this. Wednesday is Big Man Bakar's new show on Chasing Green Arrow at 2 p.m. And then we'll be back on Thursday, hopefully with Olivia Bazaglo. And I'm not sure what time. It depends if and when she can do. If not, we'll have a very special guest instead of Olivia lined up for you, I'm sure. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel pre-season. It's been fun chatting pre-season. Look, loads of you have been liking pre-season and some of you have been subscribing as well. So I'm looking at our numbers. I think we were around just over 5,000 subs. Now we're at 5.51. So that's around 510 subs pre-season, which is pretty cool for us. So guys, please do continue to subscribe and support the channel. And if you're already subscribed, you can still hit that notification bell so you know every time we're going live. And we love talking to you guys live in the chat, but shout out to everyone that watches this on catch up as well. I hope you still get that full CGA experience. I think you probably do, and we're always looking at our comments in the stream as well. So Dean, is it good to be back, mate?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, sorry everyone that I'm not going to be here for that last show before the season, but I'll be back next Monday. The season will have begun, and we'll be reacting to game week 1 of the new season. Like this is big, and that's going to be a massive show because people will be reeling, people will be celebrating. Who knows what state we'll be in by then? But the next time you see me, we would have had a game week. So thanks everyone that's joined us throughout the summer for all the prep. Obviously, we did the transfer shows when G was away, and we've done a month now of proper build up towards this season. So hopefully we've helped you find some little difference makers and given you a little bit of edge along the way. Try not to all go too template, but don't veer too far from it either because you don't want to get caught out.
Mate, we could be here next Monday and you're loving life because you've had a big Mo Salah brace or something, and like it's been a real differential for you. So I'm looking forward to going.
Yeah, I'm going to send my team in, by the way.
Yes, so I've got out on Thursday.
Yeah, check it out on Thursday. I will send in my final team, and you'll see whether or not I've managed to get Salah into that team. Hopefully, I can because I'm starting to think it would be fun if I could.
Oh, I love that. Good stuff, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on Wednesday. But for now, he's been Dean. I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing green arrows.